Welcome to section 2 of this week's episode of Hard Count Sports, where we're very pleased and very excited to bring a special guest for another interview. He's a tight end for the Carolina Panthers. Very excited to introduce Colin Thompson. Colin, how are you, my friend?
Doing great, guys. Appreciate you guys having me on.
No worries. No
Great
problem.
to have
It's
you.
great to have you on. Yeah.
Whenever we kick off our interviews, we always ask our guests, whereabouts in the world are you and what you're getting up to? So for you, where are you right now?
Yeah, so in the States, and I am in North Carolina, and I live right on the lake here called Lake Norman. It's a fantastic spot. I rent a house here in season and absolutely love it. Really, truly love it. So I'm hanging out here and had some friends in town for the weekend, which was really nice. Labor Day in America is a national holiday. So we were off today from work. We're not football-wise, but the rest of the country's off having a good old time, but that's fine though. We had a good old time Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so I have no complaints from me.
That's it. Yeah. So as the world moves on and you're looking out your window and seeing people partying and getting on, you still have to get on with your football activities and phone calls.
It's okay, man. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I absolutely love it. This is what's fun to me.
Yeah. Well, that's the main thing. As long as you're doing what you find fun. I want to go to your college career first, Colin. You know, you played at Temple. You had an injury in college. In terms of your college career, Colin, what was the kind of standout moment to you? When did you realize that this is what you love doing? And when did you realize this is what you want to take seriously?
Well, that's a great question. For me, I realized I love what I was doing when I kept getting hurt and still kept coming back for more. You know, I felt like this was where I was supposed to be, is what I was meant to do. So, yeah, I started my career at the University of Florida. And I broke my right foot twice and then broke my left foot. And then I was released on my scholarship pretty much saying, hey, listen, your career's over. You should just go to school. And we call it a medical disqualification. So I got disqualified pretty much for just medically ineligible to play. And then went to Temple. And realized pretty quick that, you know, this is what I want to do. Like you said, you know, this is really what I want to do. And that's play football. That's compete at the highest level. That's try to make it to the highest level and play in the NFL. I knew I wanted to play in the NFL when I was a little boy, you know, and I had parents that were very supportive, parents that allowed me to reach those goals, parents that, you know, positive talk and setting goals where most people would say, you know, you're not gonna be able to do that. You know, I was able to. And I'm very fortunate for that. And having great parents is really the reason why I'm here.
And that's a fundamental aspect of it. You know, sometimes whenever kids come in and tell their parents, I want to do this, I want to do that, the parents go, no, this is the avenue that we need. But having that strong foundation at home, I'm sure that's just so incredibly important for you. And, you know, it paid off. You're in the NFL and, you know, it's fantastic to see a dream has come true. I want to take you, you know, after college. You went undrafted, but signed with a couple of practice squads, spent time in New York with the Giants as well, in Chicago. And also you spent time in the the Alliance of American Football and the XFL, which actually had quite a bit of attention from our side of the pond as well. And, you know, we see on TV, on Sky Sports, when it comes to the draft, you turn on and you see Trevor Lawrence, the first overall pick, and, you know, Zach Wilson, the second overall pick. And yes, that's an avenue to get into the NFL, but that's just one pathway. There are so many other pathways. And for you, going on many different stops around your playing career, what did that teach you and how did it help you grow as a player?
Yeah, another great question. I think for me too, like half the NFL is undrafted, which is crazy to think about, right? And how much value is put on being like a fourth or a fifth rounder. You know, you got to, you're a draft pick. That's great. Well, half the league's undrafted. Yeah. So I'm sorry, ask your question again, because I was ready to drive that number home. I got short-term memory loss. Go ahead. Sorry.
No problem. You know, it's so you've had so many stops along the way in your journey, different leagues and different teams. How has that helped you develop as a player, and what have you learned, you know, going on into the next step in the NFL?
Yeah, sorry. I was again,
good.
trying to drive that home. But yeah, what I've learned is there's a lot of different things, right? I think when you get to play in a lot of different offenses, you get to play for a lot of different coaches. You get to take a little bit from everyone. There's things you don't like from all of them. There's things you love from most, right? From all, actually. You're gonna love a certain trait of every coach. And then you get to take that and then you get to run with it, right? Because everywhere you go, it's a different offense, a different mindset, it's a different head coach, it's a different special teams coach, it's a different weight room, it's a different everything. So, you're a pro. You want to find a way to be the best version of you every day, no matter what. Like, the only thing that matters is how you play on game day. So what do you do for that? It's like practice, weight train, off season. Like it never ends. You never have to catch up because you're always working. Yeah. There's going to be fatigue from it. There's going to be some things from it, but long story short is, and it's again, another great question is what have I learned? What have I taken with me? It's just, you're going to never stop learning. That's really what it is. Cause you're always going to gain new things along the way.
Mm-hmm. And that has paid off for you. You're now with the Carolina Panthers. You've just made the 53-man roster. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You're in a team now with a familiar head coach, a familiar players around you. You've got PJ Walker, who was a former college teammate, another guy who played very well in the XFL with the Roughnecks, I think. Houston Roughnecks, yeah. And that aspect of it, you came through those leagues, the AAF and the XFL, two leagues now that are sadly discontinued. The XFL may be back soon, we don't know, but what was that experience like, especially seeing a player like yourself and PJ coming out of those two setups? Two guys who were previously given chances in the league and then made to work to get back there. You and him have both shown that you are capable of playing in the league again because you've both made the 53-man roster. Do you think you and him maybe share a certain drive, certain determination, to overcome boundaries and to make that final cut?
Yeah, I think we do. I think everybody that makes a 53-man roster, and then a lot of guys that don't make the 53-man roster have that same drive as well. It's just a numbers game when it comes down to it. There's a lot of great players that are on their couch. When I was drafted in the NFL, I was barely drafted. Into the XFL, I was barely drafted in the XFL. I was the third tight end on our team, and I think I played the most out of any XFL player last year when it came to plays per play.
Right. Yep.
So, that's something I'm really proud of. It's not me pounding my chest by any means. It's something I'm very proud of as a player that, I was in the XFL. I was at the bottom of the roster. I was going to make the team, but I wasn't like a go-to guy. And then the ability to go play and, get on a team and learn and again, take values from every place. Yeah. It's something I carry with me everywhere. And I don't think I make a 53-man roster if I don't go through those leagues, the Alliance of American Football League and the XFL and all these different things. I mean, I was saying to my family and friends that are here this weekend, like I rent a nice house on the lake now, it's unbelievable for me. And it's humbling because I've lived in extended stays and I lived in truck stop hotels and I've lived in so many different places where I'm Ubering to get groceries and it's pouring rain and, all the groceries get wrecked. They're full of rainwater and I can't even use any of them. I remember the old days of like doing that grind. Now I was fortunate enough I had some money to do that. And, I have no regrets of anything, but I learned a lot because of those experiences. That's for sure.
Such an inspiring journey, and it's for anybody in any aspect of life, that journey from all over until you make it to the place where you want to be is just incredible. I'm interested to know a bit about Matt Rhule, your coach. This is the second time, the second team that you've been coached by him. He was your college coach at Temple, and now he's your college, your NFL head coach with the Carolina Panthers. What differences have you seen from his coaching style and the way that he interacts with players, maybe at the college level compared to the top of the pile of the NFL?
Well, I think he's the same guy that makes him really great. Now he's probably been a little bit more laid back than he was in college. But the players are a little bit different. There's a little bit more responsibility for your career. You're a professional. And at the end of the day in the NFL, like it's not going to work out and the player just gets cut, right? Like it's not like college where you're with that person for 4 years. So there's a different perspective to that, I think, with coach and all of us, all the coaches in college are way different than the NFL coaches. It's just a more laid back atmosphere. You're 27, 28, 29 years old. You have kids, wives. It's much different families, significant others. It's a much different approach than in college where you're 20, 21 years old. Some guys are 17 years old. and you're running around or whatever it may be. They have to try to help you grow up as well as get a degree, as well as have the best football team. So yeah, very lucky to be able to be coached by coach and all the people that have come along with him. He's a very, he rewards the people that are loyal to him, and his whole staff is full of former coaches at Temple and coaches that he's, roommates in college, and, guys that he's crossed paths with over the years, or he knows people that know them. So yeah, he's a fantastic coach. He's truly a great leader of men. And he's going to have a ton of success in the NFL. I just hope I'm here to experience it. That's what I always say.
So it seems to be quite a tight-knit community then within the coaching staff, Carolina. Another close-knit community is the tight end room. You've got Dan Arnold in there, Tommy Tremble. You've got Ian Thomas. Yes, Ian Thomas. Those three guys, including yourself, Colin, all made the 53-man roster. What's the relationship there? What's the dynamic within that room? How do you guys get on? Because obviously you're fighting for snaps, but also at the same time you're probably getting along quite well. So what's that like?
It's very unique. You have the young rookie who just turned 21. I'm the old guy who's 27, the oldest guy in the room, which is crazy. And then you have Dan, who's the free agent, who's a little bit younger than me, maybe a year, 6 months. But he's the free agent. They went out and signed and paid. And then you have Ian Thomas, who's been the draft pick from years ago, fourth rounder, I believe, and he's been there for 4 years. So, or 5, maybe somewhere around there, maybe 3. I know he's been there for over 3. So you have all these different dynamics, all these different personalities. Dan's from Wisconsin, middle of nowhere, played Division III. Ian's from Baltimore and played at Indiana, but took the long route, played junior college. Like, he's really, truly an inspiration too. His story is inspirational. And then you got a guy like Tommy Tremble's from Atlanta, and he was a big recruit and went to Notre Dame, and he was a 3rd-round pick, and he was one of the first tight ends, taken off the board there at one point in time, right? Other than Kyle Pitts and a few other guys. So, and then I'm the undrafted guy. So is Dan Arnold. So it's a bunch of different, when it comes to qualities of football, like I'm talking about, a bunch of different journeys. And then personality wise, I mean, it's chaos in a good way. It's a good time. We have a great coach, Brian Angelico, who allows it, pour some gasoline on it as well. And we have a really great time. And Grant Uditsky's there too. And then Stephon Sullivan, our practice squad tight end, is there as well. And then we have another tight end who's kind of a fullback tight end, and that's Giovanni Ricci is another great guy, undrafted guy. So yeah, it's a grind. It is a grind. It is a journey with our group, and all of us do a little bit something different. So I think that makes it fun in the sense that like we all do the same thing, but we all do it with different abilities, different skill sets. And I'm lucky to go to work with them every day.
Now, from what I understand, that you're used as more of a blocking tight end more than a pass catching tight end. However, I want to take you back to last season, Week 10 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Charlotte. What was that like whenever you see Teddy Bridgewater? His eyes are on you, your eyes are on him, the ball comes towards you, you look that ball in. Antoine Winfield is running to try and stop it, but you've got the ball in your hands and you've scored your first NFL touchdown on your first catch of an NFL pass. That must have just felt incredible. Take us through that.
It was very numbing, that's for sure. I didn't feel any pain in that moment. And, there was only 5,000 people there. I can't imagine if it was, 70,000 or whatever our stadium holds at Bank of America. It was incredible. I have that tweet pinned to my Twitter, and it's not to show that I scored a touchdown. It's to thank everyone along the way, because I really, truly am a product of those people that have invested in me. It's a 7-yard catch. It's a touchdown. It's a big deal. But, it's just a 7-yard catch, and it's just a catch in the blue paint there in the back of the end zone. I try to humble myself with it because, there's so many people that deserve it. And I'm very lucky that I've earned the right to play in this league and do it. It's very humbling. I don't take any day for granted. I really, truly feel blessed to be in this league. It's an unbelievable thing, something I do not take for granted, and something I'm working as hard as I can to maintain, because I don't want to lose it. And I know how slippery, I know how fleeting it is. I've been in on this league for long periods of time, almost 2 years at one point. So yeah, to take into the feeling, tremendous, and I see the videos of my teammates on the sideline going crazy. Something I'll never forget. It's a really warming thing. And, it's tough. My family wasn't there. but with COVID, that's how things went. So I got to celebrate, that night with a couple cold ones on the couch. And it was funny. I was watching the red zone, and there was the second or first play of the game second or first play of the end of the red zone. When it comes to an end, they show all the touchdowns for the day. And there was my touchdown. So that was like a full circle thing. Like, holy cow, man, like this is really real. So yeah, it was a big deal for me personally. We lost the game, which really wasn't fun, but on a personal level in my family, it was a very big deal because we got to kind of, put a bow tie on it and say, you know what, I'm here and I'm here to stay. And it was more of a public thing because I was playing well. Maybe privately, people don't really see blocking and really know what the rules are.
Yeah, that's it.
But when you see a score, you see a catch, hey, that's a good thing.
Yep. You briefly touched on this earlier, Cole, but I'd like you to maybe give me a wee bit of insight into what the feeling is within the Panthers camp going into this season. Obviously, you're going in with a new quarterback under center. Sam Darnold is in, and he is made quite a bit of a journey for himself in the NFL, being drafted by the Jets and having to overcome some kind of adversity there. And he's now found himself on a Panthers team, which is, I think, going to be very successful. But I'd like you to maybe give me a wee bit of insight into the locker room and the players' heads as to where you're at right now, this going forth into this season.
I think we're in a great place. I think we're in a tight knit, excited for this season, ready to play somebody else other than ourselves type situation. It was a fun training camp, get to play against some great organizations, but we're ready. We got to play against each other a bunch in camp as well, very physical in that respect. And then you get to have the opportunity now to go play a real game, go play the real game, get ready for a real preparation week, which is an awesome thing. The grind, the prep, getting ready to go. There's nothing like it. There is nothing like it. So, something that I don't take for granted for sure. And I think our group is really, like you said, in a good place mentally where we need to be when it comes to just, preparation equals success. Preparation leads to a clear mind. Preparation leads to focus. And we got a focused team that's ready to go.
I'm a Broncos fan. My dad told me he's a Broncos fan as well. And he told me many stories about Ed McCaffrey and how whenever his son Christian was coming into the league, he was really hoping that he would come to Denver, but he ended up in Charlotte and he's your teammate. I'm really interested to know a little bit more about being teammates with Christian McCaffrey and also blocking for him. What kind of a guy is he like? We see it on the field, the talent that he has, and he can seemingly do everything. But what's he like as a teammate?
He's a great guy. That's first and foremost. He's a good person, good human being, and someone I've been lucky to get to know a little bit more and hopefully block for him a little bit more this year. He was dinged up last year. I felt bad for him. First time he's really been injured, in a long time. This guy, for being not that big of a man, takes such good care of his body. And he's just elite at everything he does. Like his walkthroughs are ridiculously elite. Like just walking through the reps of practice, like he's just dialed in. Everything is dialed in 100 miles an hour. And then, at least mentally, and then practice, obviously you can assume what he does, just like the games, he's elite, and then when it comes to just, again, off the field stuff, like his preparation, his work ethic are second to none. I've never seen anything like it. Like the amount of time, money, resources he invests in his body are just tremendous, and it's something I'm trying to do better with. I learn something new every day from him, at least once a week, I'm learning something, that's for sure, of what I need to be doing or what he's doing or how I can compare it. And he truly treats his body like a temple, and, someone that I've been lucky enough to be able to watch on a day-to-day basis. He's so impressive.
So, Cole, as we move on with our interviews, we start to move towards a more trivial note. And we've got a few maybe more trivial questions for you. The first one being, now this is going to be an interesting one. You may throw a few of your teammates under the bus here. Who is the biggest joker within the Carolina Panthers locker room?
Biggest joker? Who's funny? There's a lot of them.
You can't say yourself.
No, I'm not the funniest. I may talk the most, though. That's for sure. Let me see here. mean, Dan Arnold's pretty funny. Dan Arnold's a joker.
Oh, okay.
Is he? Nice. Okay.
Our tight end room is constantly joking with ourselves. So, and we spend a lot of time together. So we got some good. I know Shaq Thompson's pretty funny. Trying to think of some pure jokers. It's a good question. But I'm going to go with Shaq Thompson and then the rest of the tight ends.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
I've got another one for you. Okay. So I remember watching a documentary and it was Johnny Hecker, the punter for the Rams, was saying that the first moment he realized he was in the NFL was whenever he was playing catch on the sideline and he threw one overhead and they were playing the Ravens and it hit Ray Lewis, and Ray Lewis tossed the ball back to him and he realized that's the actual Ray Lewis. Do you have a welcome to the NFL moment? Maybe a player that you went up against and went, wow, that's actually him, or maybe a hit you took and you were like, well, that's definitely different than anything I've experienced before, or anything like that?
Wow, these are you guys have been killing on the questions today. I got to pick my podcast game up and not for long media because these are good ones. Man, my NFL moment. Now every day I do look down at the emblem on my jersey and say, oh my God, I'm in the NFL.
Yeah,
every single day. That's every day.
Yep.
Man, it's like crazy to think about. That logo is such a cool logo, right? So we all know what it stands for, not in the NFL, but like the emblem, that shield, what it is. It's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
It's got so much power, right? It's just the number one sports league in the world. Man, there's a couple good ones. Last year was pretty amazing. I think after Arizona, when we were like out of block Chandler Jones and Hassan Reddick, who's with us now, and we had to run the ball to win the game, and I was on the field for that. That was an unbelievable moment. Blocking Khalil Mack. I mean, that's one of the best players in the history of the NFL, not just a great player in this league. This current league, this is an all-timer. Khalil was unbelievable. That was pretty cool. But it's going to be big. I think this year it's really going to hit because now there's fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's going to be different, right? Like, it's not like, hey, we're playing the Saints, but no one's in the Superdome. Well, there's going to be 60,000 fans, and it's one of the loudest stadiums in the league.
Crazy.
So I think it will hit a lot this year too.
Absolutely. And
is there any?
Sorry, Ross,
go ahead. No, Zach, you fire on.
Thank you, Ross. I was just going to ask you a little bit about your not for long media venture as well. Tell us a little bit about it, and also, if any of our listeners would be interested, how can we listen to your podcast?
Yeah, so we're just on all platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever, just like you guys are. You download it to your thing and it sends it out to all over the place, right? So Not For Long Media, check it out. It's, the Not For Long podcast. I started it when I got cut from the New York Giants and had emergency appendectomy surgery, and they're like, hey, we're going to bring you back in 2 weeks. And they never brought me back. And I'm like, you know what? The NFL stands for Not For Long. So that's where I started, Not For Long Media. And we've been going now for a couple of years, but it's really been serious this past New Year. So we're approaching episode 30. We've had people on from Chris Long coming out tomorrow, Tuesday, September 7th, to Christian McCaffrey, to Doug Ellen, the creator of Entourage, the TV show on HBO.
Wow.
We've had different walks of life. That's what I wanted to be. I always say, how do you explain it? It's the Joe Rogan podcast without the weed and the booze and the crazy like party stories. But I have I have all these different guests on, from women's basketball coaches to lifestyle experts to chefs to comics to pro athletes. So check it out. It's fun. Not For Long Media. We're on all the social media outlets, and something I
very
enjoy.
good. Well, give that a look, guys. Definitely. I would much advise you to have a wee look into that, especially if you like podcasts. The one thing I was going to ask you, Colin, was, you mentioned the fact that fans are back in the stadium this year. Is there any away games you're looking forward to maybe give the away fans, a wee bit of, abuse yourself?
No abuse from me. I won't be saying a word to them. But I'm looking forward to Buffalo. We have
yeah.
I mean, we have a great schedule this year. Most of our games are like either indoors or on turf or whatever. And, we get to go out and go to Buffalo in December.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be cold.
Yeah, it will be.
And that's going to be unique. That's the ones you don't forget. You remember them forever. So
I'd have to
I'll
break
remember-
a few tables. Do you mind?
No, I will not be breaking any table. I'm going to be behaving. I will not be a part of Bill's Mafia. I'm not going to rile them up anymore. They're already riled up enough. What a great fan base and a great team that they have going on up there in Buffalo.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be a cool experience and compete against a great team like they are in the AFC.
Yeah.
Arizona is going to be a cool trip. I've never been out there. But I'm just so focused on the moment. To be honest with you, like what we got going on with the Jets, I really haven't thought ahead that much.
I know we think
go to Miami.
play the 49ers this year, don't you?
No Niners. No, we just go to
Niners.
Arizona.
No
Niners.
No. Right.
I think. Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. It's always a fun journey.
Yeah.
And one last question for me: how excited are you hearing "Sweet Caroline" ringing around Bank of America Stadium this year to a full crowd?
Yeah. So there's gonna be a lot of traditions that we probably don't even know about, like
like pounding the drum.
Yeah. So they keep pounding, like they did that last year, but it's like there's nobody there. So it's like, oh, cool. Like they pound the drum and everyone just
I'll get Steph Curry, no?
Yeah, maybe that'd be nice. Luke Combs was at practice the other day. Steph Curry.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So you get a lot of big, you get a lot of big people. So So I'm looking forward to that. That's for sure. The fans are going to be fun. It's really going to be fun. And, people are jonesing for it, as you guys know. You see these Premier League games, they're packed, right? You see a lot of different things. They're packed. So it's good. The world's getting a little bit healthier, hopefully. And
definitely. Yeah.
And it's going to be a fun season. That's for sure.
Yeah. Hopefully there's no more COVID nonsense. I'm completely tired of it.
Aren't we all, man?
Over here, it's just, I think it's actually starting to get worse again over here for us. But we'll not talk about that. But anyway, it's been a real pleasure, Cole, having you on. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day, especially a busy NFL player schedule. And it's a real blessing that you could be with us today. So thank you very much for taking that time, and all the best this season. I think Zach and I both hope that you have a very successful season personally, but also as a team. So we're wishing you all the best for that. And keep pounding, I guess that's all you can say.
Keep pounding.
That's it.
Well, Ross and Zach, I can't thank you guys enough for coming on. Really, for having me. Excuse me. Having me on. It's been great. Nothing but success to you guys and your podcast. And I look forward to following it and listening and staying in touch down the line. Anytime you need a guest or anything, you let me know.
Thank you very much, Colin.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.